Welcome back to the Professional Lovers channel, and I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are
the Professional Lovers.
Here we are for another week. Yes, I'm wearing a hat that signifies I didn't feel like doing my hair day.
Well, it's bad weather.
Yes, and sometimes you just don't feel like it, no matter how short it is.
True.
So you grab a hat because you cannot put it in a ponytail. Anyway, so another week has gone by with Married at First Sight, and certain things just have me shaking my head like it's just a repeat week after week. But nonetheless, we're here to talk about it and to share with you some of our experiences, some of our thoughts, maybe a tip or two from our book. So welcome back for those of you who follow us, and those of you who are new. Glad to have you. Share with somebody, like us, and subscribe as we talk about relationship issues through the lens of Married at First Sight. So, Kirsten and Shaq.
Kirsten and Shaq.
So first of all, as a setup, everybody was celebrating their month anniversary. They had officially made it to the halfway mark, married 4 weeks and counting. So that was one thing. And then several of the spouses talked to friends and parents in this episode. So Kirsten went out to get a pedicure with one of her friends and was sharing with her how she felt, how things were going. And her main beef was that Shaq is inconsistent. Sometimes he's energetic and all into her, and other times he's not. And she feels like he's a little bit too up and down, not consistently giving her the attention and affection that she's looking for. And it was interesting when she said, sometimes he'll just come in and just, I expect a hug and a kiss for someone who says she doesn't like to kiss. Instead of just, hey, how you doing? And that conversation kind of made me feel like she's looking for him to do stuff for her that she does not reciprocate.
Exactly.
She is not reciprocating what he's looking for, which means it's a little one-sided.
And believe it or not, I think it's a thing where when you understand loving styles, she needs to understand what he needs. It's a situation in which, due to the fact that she started off a little reserved, not a very tactile individual, not very touchy-feely, kissy and whatnot. He pulled back a little bit. Okay, well, just to get him to the point where he's feeling comfortable that he's not able to do what he normally would do, thinking that this is what enhances a relationship and getting to know you and so on and so forth. She needs to understand what it is that he may need.
Well, I think he's been kind of clear.
Oh, no, it's not that he hasn't been.
So what I'm saying is, it's not that she doesn't understand.
She needs to execute.
She's not doing anything in that regard. But they have, you can see the chemistry when they're having fun together, when they went skating and all of that. And, when they were having their little skating dinner, she asked him what was he expecting, for the next month. And he said, I really want to spend a lot of time around your friends and family so I can get to know you. But she's like, friends and family means that, you're getting intimate with them. And if they like him and we don't last, then, I don't really want them to get close and not knowing if we're going to, that's
looking at the glass half empty. Because what if he does? What if he does like you? I mean, there's always two sides to a coin. But if you're looking at it negatively, that's what you'll find.
But at the same time, when they were talking at dinner, he was saying, she says, well, you have a lifetime to get to know me. And he's like, no, really. We have decision day.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere, then that's going to impact decision day, which is unfortunate because I mean, she's not throwing him, it doesn't appear as though she's even throwing him a bone. And he's been very full of grace.
Patient.
But his patience is starting to wear thin.
Truly.
Because when she asks him questions and he answers them, and then he asks her the same question, she won't say anything. And even when the couples got together, she got very uncomfortable when Nicole, who kind of like deemed herself the
group counselor.
Yeah, the group counselor for everyone because their relationship is going so well.
Yeah.
You know, kind of called her out on not opening up, not being vulnerable, whatever, or asking her questions, and she clammed up like she does.
Unfortunately.
And it's unfortunate. And he said,
go ahead.
He said, it's unfortunate that you're not willing to open up to someone who wants to be
in the marriage,
here with you.
Yeah. In the marriage.
And so, as Al already alluded to, one of the tips in becoming a professional lover says, love your spouse his or her way.
True.
Now, in this book, we talk about learning your spouse's loving styles. And they have not done that. They have not even, kind of gotten to this point. But that also includes listening to what your spouse says he or her needs. And in this situation, as with another couple we'll talk about later, Jasmine and Airris, it's there's one spouse seems so consumed by what she or he is not getting. And they're not looking at the other side of, are you giving what your spouse says he or she needs?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I just had a thought. Do you think that loving style tests or interviews were done with these individuals?
I don't know. And it would be, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it because they don't talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
whether they talk about it behind the camera, behind the scenes, I don't know. But it is a great thing to do.
It's an excellent tool.
And there are lots of tests, personality tests, loving style tests, and even spiritual gifts tests for those who are, spiritual.
And they're not necessarily, the be all that ends all, but they have certain elements in them that allow you to understand yourself and the other individual that you're intending to spend time with, so that, it's not just the superficial things that you see and maybe what you hear, because again, you're putting your best foot forward when you first meet each other and so on and so forth. But when it comes down to reality, you do want more nuts and bolts as to who it is that you're really about to spend your life with. So I think that can be extremely beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
And, when you're talking about personality tests, you're talking about understanding yours and your significant other's strengths, weaknesses, where those two could create conflict with each other. And it's like getting a snapshot of what kind of conflict could come down the pike because of the differences in your personality.
Because it's not to say that you can't deal with it.
Right.
But it gives you a heads up as to, if it happens, how do you deal with it? And if you see it coming, can you thwart it? I mean, to, circumvent what it can ultimately be by allowing it to build up and you addressing it, when it's at a simmering stage, and not have it blow up and cause major friction within the relationship.
And, going back to the question, do you think they take these type of loving style and personality tests beforehand? I would hope so. But if not, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, if you're listening, but you're probably not, but we're going to say it anyway. I think that would also help to weed out
because
people who are not really ready, not just forget about the way this happens, married at first sight, just not ready for marriage.
True.
Period.
Yeah. commitment type relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's one of, if not both of you, who are very familiar with these type of tests.
Mm-hmm.
This we know.
Not naming any names, Pastor Cal. Anyway, and so, so again, Shaq is asking for Kirsten to divulge more, and Kirsten just is not, giving up that part of her.
Yeah.
Yet.
And unfortunately it's as simple as being vulnerable, and she just has some deep rooted insecurities about herself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I believe that she's a great individual. I believe that she could be part of a great marriage, and I really truly believe that the two of them can be an awesome couple.
They really can be. They really can be. Nicole and Chris chugging along. Hey. Nothing major except Dad came to visit to bring her dogs and needed to have a little powwow with Chris.
Yeah.
And everybody, and I kind of think, okay, Chris is a nice guy.
Yeah.
And everybody looks at him as the nice guy you can step on and walk over.
The potential wimp.
Yeah. Do you think he's a wimp?
No, I don't. I truly do not. Because and it's even how he when he had the conversation with Dad, how Dad just assumed that, he just needs to step it up. And
yeah, because he said something I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, but I don't think he's as timid as people assume he is.
I don't either.
And I think he may even absorb it. And I can kind of be very understanding in that situation. I'm not going to, just because I don't like something, that don't mean I'm going to confront it with, as much intensity, showing you how much I have a disdain for it or whatever.
Well, that's not your personality.
Exactly.
And that's not his either.
Exactly.
And that is the point, that I think that his personality allows him to take a lot of things. Yeah. But if you push too hard, or he feels like he is starting to be walked over, because the main reason why I don't think he is that way is because he's experienced that.
Right.
He knows what that looks like, and he knows what that feels like. Right. And he's not going to let that happen again.
And to me, that is an obvious sign of his commitment to the relationship. He's still willing to put out and provide and do all the things that he enjoys doing for his significant other. Mm-hmm. And he enjoys doing that. He enjoys putting a smile on her face. And he enjoys creating experiences for the two of them to, just have memories for whenever, however long. But he's not going to restrict it just because something may not necessarily be right or whatever the case may be. And it's not that he's just going to continually do it if things go wrong. I mean, there's going to be a time where he's going to stop. And who knows? You may wonder why. But I don't think he's the wimp that people think he is.
Yeah, so Dad, try to give him some, have confidence and just do things to make you happy. And, don't just do things for her because you think it's what she wants or what she wants to hear or what she wants to see, because she can be a lot. And, I understand where he's trying to come from. I just don't agree with all of his
he's a little
advice,
he's
because
a little stereotypical.
In marriage, you are supposed to be other-centered. Mm-hmm. You are supposed to be loving and doing for your spouse the things that make him or her feel love, the things that they interpret as love, exactly. Not what you interpret as love.
And now understand, what she did not say was do the things that make them feel happy.
Right.
It makes them feel loved.
Loved.
You have to decide to be happy from what it is you're receiving. If it's not enough, that's on you. But your decision is still your decision. And
so the tip after love your spouse his or her way says that loving your spouse your way is selfish.
Truly.
Which brings us to Jasmine and Airris. So here's another thing, just like with Kirsten. Mm-hmm. Airris is talking to his friend, who's asking, how things are going, and he's, in his, I don't feel physically attracted to her.
Lying.
It's not because she's ugly, because she's not ugly. She's very nice. But sometimes, and I've been in situations where I haven't felt initial attraction, but maybe she dresses in a way that, attracts me. Maybe she's got swag. Maybe she's funny and humorous. And I'm kind of like, okay, Jasmine does not dress like a prude.
No.
And it's almost like she's too ladylike for him.
She is.
And
because he's not accustomed to dealing with ladies. That's the bottom line. And considering,
that's coming from a guy.
Considering what he has talked about his life for the past, 16 years since, what was it, 23 when he got his...
Heartbroken.
Yeah. He's 39. So 16 years of hits. That's all it is. He has his little flings. And that's all it's been. It's nothing's been significant. So there's been no effort put toward the relationship. You knew what the relationship was for. Evidently, they did too. That's all it was. And we moved on from there. Next. This is not one of those relationships. He has to put in the effort in getting to know and allowing one to get to know who he is and what he's about. And he has to basically become vulnerable. He has to put himself back in that 23-year-old frame of mind to allow himself to be hurt or, true, allow himself to be hurt. But he has to trust that she won't hurt him. And I don't believe she will.
She's made that kind of clear by just, anyone who asks how they're doing, like at the dinner. And she says, well, I'm attracted to him, but he's not attracted to me. So, we're kind of at this place where, we're just trying to work on it and keep. So she's kind of forthright with how she feels about him. And, yes, there has to be some type of physical spark. And usually if that's not the first thing that happens, if that person is ticking all your boxes for character, that spark can come alive.
Yeah.
He just appears to not be interested in having or letting anything spark. And when they were looking at their album and reading their vows, and he read his vows,
and she asked him, well, have you done that?
And he had to say,
no, I haven't.
No.
Well, okay.
He had to admit that he's not doing his vows.
Yeah, he's not been putting forth the effort that he said he would be putting forth.
Right. And, so she's like, so, what does that mean? Because in her talking to the camera, basically saying, I think she was talking to the camera. I don't know if she was talking to a friend, and she said she's not really happy with where they are. She thought they would be more ahead. They seem like they have regressed a little bit, and and she realized when she was looking at the wedding photos that she's not in the same space now as when she was that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her patience is starting to wear thin.
Yeah.
And
I mean, on a day like that, regardless of it being as crazy as it is, but you're at a peak and you're looking forward to, because of the situation, for it to even launch more. And I think she has seen a steady decline within herself, only because her commitment is not being met.
Right. And so he ends by saying that he thinks sex should be completely off the table till after decision day. And his reasoning, talking to the camera, was, if we had sex now, it really wouldn't mean anything. And I don't want it to be like that because that's how it has been before. And that sounded really good.
No, it didn't. I mean, and okay. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
Go ahead, finish.
from the standpoint of how he has looked at sex before, I hear him. It's when I say it sounded good, it sounded like he doesn't want it to be the same way. Yet, in his particular situation, I think it's a cop out.
Oh, most definitely. And that's why I laughed. Because it's all on him. If he takes it off the table, then he doesn't have to perform.
Right.
And then when I say perform, he doesn't have to put in the effort to now change her attitude of allowing it to be more than just something to do.
Although she said, I would agree with that if the intimacy can move forward.
Right.
But there's no guarantee that that's going to happen.
And I mean, he's got to prove himself. And it's not difficult to do. I mean, again, in finding out the things that your significant other likes, dislikes, what they enjoy. I mean, you can just, what they are. You just play on it. You find ways to put a smile on their face. Mm-hmm. And as you see them smiling, maybe touch them. Just to keep the smile going, or maybe even create a different type of spark. I mean, it's not difficult because you're there, you're together, you're committed through default, but that's not how the relationship manifests itself. You're committed to each other, but you still have to work at building and growing and enhancing the feelings, the anticipation, the expectations of where you will be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're old and gray and, you're sharing each other's glasses.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, don't say
no
toothbrush or something crazy like that.
I said what I said.
Okay, yay. But we can't even do that. So, Gina and Clint seem to be making progress.
And there's things that I hear from Gina that make me think that her guard is coming down. Mm-hmm. And I even see Clint in his matter-of-fact way. And that's the thing about it. He does things so matter-of-fact, no emotion whatsoever. They just come out. Mm-hmm. I'm even seeing more of a glint of, lightheartedness as he says what he says. And, so he smiles a little bit more. And, so I believe that they have potential as well. Well, I always did. Mm-hmm. I always did, but it's just a matter of them getting on the same page and feeling positive toward one another and just enjoying one another.
Well, I think, and that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
They've been enjoying one another, and, they were very effusive with their praise of each other, the things that they like about each other, and, recreating their Jamaica experience. And, Gina said that she loves that he commits to whatever it is he wants to do. He loves that, he loves her drive and how she takes everything in stride. And so, I mean, they
understand the reason why they were put together.
Right.
And they see it.
Right.
They see it.
Right. And the fact that they have been enjoying each other has really started to reflect their comfortability with one another. Yeah. And hopefully, we can only hope that will continue. And then, as I said, the couples got together to celebrate their month anniversary together. See how each other's doing, and offer encouragement to each other as they head toward the second month, the last month before decision day. So, a couple of the week for you.
I like Clint and Gina. Because they are steadily making progress.
Okay.
Chris and
Nicole are my couple of the week.
And they're where they are. They're feeling good. They're positive. and I only expect more positive things. I'm just thinking of who has, made a significant stride or step, or, something that just makes me say, yay. For them, Nicole and Chris is yay. They're a constant yay. But Clinton Gina was a yay.
Okay. Red flag couple?
It's only one person that's a red flag.
Okay. So,
well, no, they actually
red flag couple is Kirsten and Airris.
Just that they're two separate couples. Yeah.
Yes, they don't belong to each other, but they're acting very similar.
Yeah.
So I would put them together. Red flag couples, Kirsten and Airris.
Yeah. And I think that Shaq can probably, if he chooses to do so, I think he can break down Kirsten's walls. It's just that I know that.
And she claims they're coming down. And he don't see it.
Yeah, he don't see it because he's in it. And, sometimes when you're in it, you don't see it. I can see where, we talk about their playfulness and stuff like that. It's there. It's there. It's just that when they start to talk about stuff, she doesn't want to talk. Although I think he needs to ask a question and he needs to say absolutely nothing. Just ask the question.
Nothing like that silence.
Really?
To make you feel uncomfortable enough to finish.
Say something. Exactly. Really. Because he asks a question and then she'll fumble over the words or whatever and see, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, just say nothing. Let her fumble through the words. Let her find a way to express, and ultimately you show her that you're willing to allow her to express however she chooses to. And I think that's where that trust factor on her part comes into play. You have to allow her to be herself. And if it happens to be slow, a little awkward, because that's what I think it is. I think she just feels awkward. She hasn't been this type of intimate with someone before. So, but with Airris,
So what do you think about Kirsten and Airris' behavior? Do you feel like they're taking advantage of the patience and grace that their spouses are showing? Or do you feel like they have some valid reasons for how they're going about contributing to the relationship or what they're expecting from their spouse? Leave your answers in the comment section at the end of this, at the bottom of this.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Thank you. And so there we go. That is our recap for this week. And as we wait to see what happens, you know what we say. We want you to love yourselves.
And each other.
Bye.
Peace.